doing queries in GIS, we can use all sorts of operators. So operators just act on an object to produce a result. So for example, we could take two columns in an attribute table and we could add them together or subtract them or multiply them or divide them or any of those sorts of things. But we're just basically, in this case, taking two numbers and adding them together. GIS queries have other type of operators because we typically want to do some sort of comparison. So we might say that a value in an attribute table is equal to something, or a value in an attribute table is greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, or less than and equal to. All those different things we could use. So for example, we could say we're looking in an attribute table just for the state that is equal to the value New Jersey, or we could say we're looking for students that have a GPA of greater than 3.0. And so these are the logical operators. The Boolean operators, they test pairs of conditions and they return either a true or a false value. So you could say, looking in an attribute table, you're looking for the ones that major equals geography and the GPA is greater than 3.5. In order for a particular row or record in the attribute table to be selected, both of these things would have to be true. The major of that student would have to be geography, and that student's GPA would have to be over 3.5. One other type of operator that's out there are spatial operators, and these test for spatial relationships such as proximity, how close something is, like cities within 50 miles of a volcano, or it could be whether or not things touch each other, if they're adjacent to each other. But let's take a look at how these are used in queries. So in this example here, we're looking at a layer named cities, in which in the attribute table it has a state. So all the cities in certain states would be listed as rows in this attribute table, and some of those states would have a value of Arizona, or the abbreviation for Arizona, AZ. So every city whose state value was equal to Arizona would be selected when you did this query, and we can see that that state is one of the fields in the attribute table, and AZ is one of the values that sometimes appears under this column in the attribute table. So the state is equal to Arizona, and this is sometimes called SQL, or structured query language, and this is how the GIS software looks through the attribute tables in order to find the proper fields. So sometimes we use something called a clause builder. And a clause builder is basically just when we're typing in a short little equation so that we can pick what we want to pick. So in this example here, we're looking for a rock type like something that contains the phrase stone. And this is how we would write it, with a single quote, percentage, and then what we're looking for, percentage again, single quote to end it. And then we would, and then we can look for that expression in the attribute table. If anything like limestone exists, then it's going to go ahead and choose that.